Our next speaker, our third speaker, is going to be Mr. Tim Wilson. The title of Tim Wilson's speech is The Speaking Art. It's going to be 8 to 10 minutes. This speech is for people who are new to Toastmasters and interested in finding out more about it. For the purpose of this speech, imagine you are a guest at a Toastmasters meeting. If you actually are a guest, this should be easy. And you are hearing about the benefits of joining a Toastmasters club for the first time. And now please join me in welcoming Mr. Tim Wilson.
Speaking is an art. And the thing about the speaking art is that it's very powerful. It has the ability to arouse us, to excite us, to lift us up to the highest heights, and to crash us in the deepest depths. And the thing about this speaking art is that it's so powerful, is that we only have to hear just a little bit of a speech, and we're taken and transported into another world. We only have to hear, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. We're transported to the world of John F. Kennedy, a time of great national fear, great national courage. If only to hear, I have a dream, taken off the world of Martin Luther King, a time of great oppression, great sacrifice. The thing about the speaking art, or any art, is that you need to practice it to get better. Artists have their artist studio. This is the place where sculptors, artists, and watercolors, and draftsmen, and drawers, and architects all go to the artist studio to get better, to improve, to practice, to work on it. Toastmasters has its own speaking art studio. The speaking art studio for that speaking arts is Toastmasters. Toastmasters is the place to develop and build and grow that speaking art. So just as the artists have their own studio for their own artistic works, so the speaking artist has Toastmasters. And the thing about any art is that you have basic art tools. The pen, the pencil, the drawing paper. These are the standard art tools that you use all the time. And the artist needs to become very familiar with these tools. Needs to be able to use them like that. So if they have a pen or they want to draft something off, they can quickly draw off a quick sketch without any problem. Toastmasters and our speaking art has its own tools. In Toastmasters, it's the Competent Communicator book. 10 tools to use in every speech you give. Coming to the point. The icebreaker. Researching your topic. These are the basic speaking art tools. The tools you need to understand, the tools you need to learn. Because if you're really going to uplift your audience and raise them up to that high point, you need to understand these tools. And that means not just understand the basics, but become really, really familiar with them. And so through the book, it'll take you through that journey. It'll make sure you know each tool very well, and after you finish the book, do it again. The more familiar you are with these speaking art tools, the better your speaking art will be. And often, an artist won't always have time to do a full, humongous painting, a full, huge sculpture. Instead, they'll have to do a quick sketch. They'll have to quickly jot down the ideas they're thinking about, rearrange it, change it a little bit, get it out in the open before they fully commit to it. So in Toastmasters and the speaking art, you need to have that quick sketch. Use Toastmasters. Use table topics. Table topics are all about getting that quick sketch down, getting that point, just impacting the audience, hitting the audience, and getting that point across. You only have time for a quick sketch, because quite often in the business world, that's the reality. They don't want the full presentation. They just want a quick sketch. Just tell me the bottom line here, and we'll move on from there. A true speaking artist can handle that speaking art sketch and do it with table topics. And in art, there are art critics. And the role of the art critic is very simple. The art critic is supposed to take any particular artist they think is good and praise them to the skies, and take any artist that they think is bad and humiliate them and try to pummel and crush the spirit out of them. That's the role of the art critic. Toastmasters has its critic too, but it's a slightly different role that the critic has in Toastmasters. The critic in Toastmasters, called the evaluator, is there to help people develop and build their speaking art, to help them become better, to help them improve. So the evaluator will help the speaking artist understand, here's some strengths, here's some things you're doing well, here's some things that are really solid, and here's some things you need to improve, things you need to develop. The speaking art critic is very different in the way that they do things from the art critic, because the speaking art critic, the evaluator, is there to help the speaker, there for the speaker. What that means is maybe some things you're interested in, you think is a good idea, other things you're interested in, you don't think, not for me, it's fine. Take what you need, forget the rest. That's something you can do, though, to build and develop your speaking art. And in developing your speaking art, an artist needs a canvas. And the biggest challenge of anybody new to art, new to speaking, is how do you fill that canvas? Quite often, a person very new to art will fill only part of the canvas, just a little bit. They'll focus so much on all the details and all the stuff they get when they finish the entire piece of discover, they'll use a third of the canvas or half of a canvas. And they've got to kind of try to fill out the rest as best they can. Or, they'll have so many ideas, so much stuff, so much things going on, they take the canvas and they overfill it. They crowd it with so much stuff, it almost seems to come off of the canvas. As speaking artists, our canvas is time. And it's very important that we fill our speaking art canvas of time. The challenge for new speakers is to speak in and not use the amount of time that they have. Only focus on just a small amount of things and not really go all the way down. So the challenge is to make sure you use all the time you have. If you only use that little bit of time and you don't use the full amount, you rob the audience. The audience doesn't get the full impression. The audience doesn't get the full masterpiece that's in your mind. You need to make sure you use all the time. And if you try to go over, then there's a problem too. You're overfilling the canvas. Speaking art canvas is oversaturated. And you're going to lose your audience. They'll get upset because you're going too far, you're going too long, you aren't getting to the point. And that doesn't work also.